Well, let's do it. Starting off with Flagstaff baseball, the Eagles have had an up and down season, going on a 5-game winning streak while also losing 6 of 7. However, the Eagles still find themselves in the middle of the pack and playoff hunt in the 4A Grand Canyon Conference. Sean, what will you be looking forward to seeing from this squad as the regular season winds down?
Johnny, you mentioned it. The Eagles have had a roller coaster of a season thus far, and right now they currently sit at an overall record of 10-12 and 4-7 in conference play. This week has been a rivalry week for them, and as almost every sports fan knows, myself included growing up watching college football, it is one of the biggest weeks of the season for any team. They lost 7-6 at Coconino High School on Tuesday as they gave up an astounding 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning alone. This was tough as that mostly eliminated any hope of them making the playoffs this season. The Eagles headed into Thursday's game at home versus Coconino, looking to not only get payback, but also finish section play with a bit of pride as they look to finish the season on a positive note. But sadly, we do not know the result of that game.
You are absolutely right, Sean. Sports at this point of the season can be much more than wins and losses. It can be about pride and satisfaction, and can give a team like Flagstaff the opportunity to cap off the season on a high note. On the topic of baseball, like Sean mentioned before, the Coconino Panthers squeaked out the W in Game 1 against the Eagles Tuesday night, and the win puts the squad in the playoff hunt as they remain 3rd in the Grand Canyon Conference. Moving on to the NPA Spartans, they currently sit at 3rd place in the 2A Central standings, with their offense being led by sophomore Connor Barta, who's hitting .591, good for 2nd in the conference overall. With one more game left in the regular season for NPA, they look to close it out strong against conference leader Scottsdale Prep. Moving over to Flagstaff Eagles softball, after winning 8 straight games from March 9th to April 6th, the Eagles have since lost 5 straight, including 4 against conference opponents. Sean, what can this Eagles squad do to right the ship and get back to the winning ways they experienced earlier in the season?
Johnny, what this team needs to do is actually play better on defense than they have been both on the mound and on the diamond. During their 8-game winning streak, they had, check this out, 3 shutouts and 2 other games where they only gave up 2 runs. During their 5-game losing streak, they've had given up at least 5 runs in each game, including games where they gave up, and I'm not kidding, 15, 14, and 13 runs in those respective games. Their pitching needs to return to form if they are going to have any chance at finishing strong against Prescott and their rival Coconino, who they lost to 8-4 home in their last game. The Eagles' fielding and pitching needs to work together to finish the season strong and on a high note.
Eagles softball also played the Panthers again yesterday afternoon, but we do not have the statistics for that game. The Panthers have been solid this season, accumulating a 5-1 record at home and are currently sporting the 3rd best record against conference opponents at 8-3. The Panthers will look to close out the regular season on a good note against non-conference opponent Desert Edge this upcoming Monday. Good luck to the Panthers. NPA softball has been on fire all season long. While we do not have their statistics in their game against Glendale Prep yesterday, they have been on a hot streak as of late, winning 7 of their last 8 games and averaging over 15 runs a game in that span. The Spartans sit at 2nd place in the 2A Central standings overall and close out the regular season with another game against Glendale Prep, along with Valley Lutheran, next week on Monday and Tuesday, respectively. The NAU football spring game is inching closer and closer, with 10 practices under the Lumberjacks' belts, including a 100-plus yard scrimmage at Chandler High School. What has stood out to you the most, Sean, and who do you think will be the difference maker for this team going into the regular season?
Johnny, I tell you what, this scrimmage at Chandler High School was very exciting, and the first play of the game was what stood out the most. There was a dazzling trick play by NAU wide receiver Justice Stokes, who caught a screen pass, then threw a bomb 80-yard touchdown pass to Stacy Chukwumezi. This trick play worked to absolute perfection, and it will be exciting to see how NAU opens up the playbook with first-year head coach Chris Ball and 6-year senior Case Cookus. This is going to be an exciting season at the QB position as Cookus looks to bounce back from his injury last year. Here's a fun fact. Cookus is not the only quarterback to have 6 years of eligibility, as Case Keenum, along with Case Cookus, has also had 6 years of eligibility. Case Keenum, who is currently starting in the NFL, has his best season in his 6th year. So it'll be very interesting to see how successful he is this season.
Case Cookus will definitely be an X factor for the team this season. However, I do not believe he will be the X factor. I believe that label goes to, as you mentioned, head coach Chris Ball. Ball is coming from a very explosive FBS conference in the American Athletic. Listen to this. Last season, the Memphis Tigers ranked 4th in the entire FBS in total offense, 4th in rushing offense, 23rd in passing efficiency, and 7th in overall scoring offense. While it is true that Ball was the defensive coordinator for the Tigers and was not calling the plays on offense, he brings experience and prior knowledge of how an offense should be run. This, coupled with the fact that he has shown experience to recruit out west, is a positive sign for both current and future players on this team. NAU men's tennis has continued to be amazing wherever they play, riding a 16-game winning streak and going an undefeated 10-0 in conference play. Sean, what can this squad do to continue their success when they go to UC Irvine tomorrow, along with preparing for the Big Sky tournament next Thursday?
Johnny, as I said last week, this team is an unstoppable machine that keeps on chugging. They have won the Big Sky regular season championship and will head into the Big Sky tournament as the #1 seed. They are just clicking on all cylinders, dominating in their one-on-one battles. And here's the thing, in their final 3 conference matches, they won all 3 by a score of 6-1 each, which, trust me, that is very lopsided. The final 4 games are out-of-conference tune-up games before the Big Sky tournament. Here's the good news. They've already won 3 of them as they dominated Mesa Community College and Western New Mexico twice. They will play at UC Irvine tomorrow, who is 13-6 overall with a 2-2 record in their conference. And that game will be their final pre-Big Sky tournament game tune-up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Let me tell you something though. If I am NAU, what I would do is I would try to win, of course. You like to always try to win as much as you can, but try to take it a little bit easy, as they should focus on being healthy and fresh for the Big Sky tournament.
Sean, this team has definitely taken a huge leap forward as they currently sit at 19-6. Listen to this though. Over their past 3 seasons, their overall records were 12-11, 15-8, and 13-12. You have to give a ton of credit to head coach Macy Bogush, who has been able to transform this team into a powerhouse in his first season as head coach. It is phenomenal how much of a tall task that was. I usually find class papers to be a tall task, but that is absolutely minuscule compared to the accomplishment this squad has been able to do this season.